Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews, and it's our WrestleMania 34 review. Let's see if WWE's WrestleMania could compete with TakeOver, or was it as flat as a New Day pancake? Let's find out. This is Smack Talk's WrestleMania 34 review. So we're going to look at everything from the kickoff show to the main show itself. So let's start with the first match of the night on the kickoff show, the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Now for most people, just like myself, this is the match where most mid-carders and tag teams who are not going to be in a title match are getting thrown in. And the biggest surprise for me in the whole Andre the Giant Battle Royale match was the entrance of Kane. It was a big surprise, and the minute I saw him, he automatically became my favourite to win this. Obviously with Kane having one of the biggest eliminations in, Royal Rumble history, it's kind of interesting to see that he hasn't won the Andre the Giant Battle Royale before. Unfortunately, the Big Red Machine was unable to succeed there, and it was left with both Mojo Rawley and Baron Corbin and the Woken Man himself, Matt Hardy. And to be honest, it was an interesting last three. With Mojo and Baron Corbin deciding to work together to try and eliminate Matt Hardy, and then as soon as they thought they eliminated him, turning on each other, as you do as a good heel. It was a great little little contest between the two. Next thing we know, the lights go off, and who comes back? None other than Bray Wyatt himself, and that was a great pop. The fans were excited to see him. He hasn't been seen since the Ultimate Deletion, and he came back to help Matt Hardy win, which was an even bigger shock. This is obviously indication that maybe Bray has turned babyface, which is an interesting concept on its own, because we've not seen a Bray Wyatt babyface. So this could be very interesting, and it might do something for his character which hasn't been able to be done by himself. Maybe him and Matt Hardy could have a tag team partnership together. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But because of Bray Wyatt's help, Matt Hardy was able to win. But there was quite a bit of confusion by the end, because with Bray Wyatt in the ring and Matt Hardy, it took a few seconds before the referees realised Bray was not actually in the match and Matt had won the Battle Royale. It was a good start to the show, and it was a great surprise return in the kickoff show. Next match we had was the Cruiserweight final, and that, to be honest with you guys, was an absolute brilliant show for me, because I really enjoyed the Cruiserweight tournament which they built up towards WrestleMania. And Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali for me are two of the best wrestlers on the show. The only thing which was really grinding my gears throughout the whole match was them saying, "Come on, show me your heart. Come on, show me your soul. We get it. You guys are the heart and soul of 205. But for me, it was a little bit too much on the nose, guys. Come on, we get it. The cheesiness we don't need to see on, WrestleMania. They give us a good show. They did. They gave us a good show, which was good. And I'm sure a match like that will get a lot more fans invested into the 205 brand, because it's worth checking out. If you especially like your high-flying moves, 205 with especially Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander is a show to watch. And for me personally, I was kind of happy with Cedric Alexander winning the belt, because he's been on that crust of winning the title so many times and having things which he couldn't control, like backstage politics and all this lot, take it away from him. So this time around, I'm kind of glad he's finally got the Cruiserweight title. He is, for me, the right guy to push 205 to the next stage. Match on the kickoff show was the first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. Now, this was actually quite interesting. At the start of the match, we had Becky Lynch get an entrance, then the rest of the women came in, apart from Bayley and Sasha Banks, who also got entrances. So it was kind of like, well, yeah, those three are the reason people are going to be watching this match. And it was kind of true. To be honest, it was an interesting match. We had Carmella be the first ever woman to be eliminated from the Battle Royale because she was messing about, as you do, and all the women kicked the crap out of her, which I didn't mind. Which actually got me thinking, well, she's been eliminated so early, could she be cashing in tonight? Do a Seth Rollins. No, unfortunately, Carmella didn't cash in. So, spoiler alert, that was all we got to see of Carmella throughout the night. And we also saw Also, Dana Brooke get the same treatment. She got kicked out. That was after Natalya pushed her in the center, which was a bit crap. I thought Dana Brooke doesn't deserve to be treated as badly as, you know, a gimmick as that. But it was a good battle royale, and there was a lot of confusion near the end. It looked like Bayley had won, which was great because me and Jade both predicted Bayley to win after taking out Sasha Banks, which was awesome. But in the confusion, we were cheering like Bayley, and then we realised Naomi was still in the ring, even though Naomi had been on the side, on the floor for ages. So she was outside the ring for ages, and we actually thought she was eliminated, but apparently not. She had rolled under the ropes after being taken out by Kairi Sane. I didn't know that, but apparently so. So when she returned, it was like, what? But she's been eliminated. Becky Lynch didn't really last that long either, and it was a bit of a disappointment for her, in my opinion. Naomi getting the win and eliminating Bayley, it was a shock. And a great, to be honest, I think Naomi is a good person to have as your first Andre the Giant winner. She's definitely one of the most athlete women on the SmackDown roster, and it's fair to have one go to Raw, one go to SmackDown on the Battle Royale victories. So yeah, not too disappointed, and it was a bit of an interesting way to show the Bayley and Sasha Banks feud building up. This takes us to the main show itself, and we kicked off with probably one of the best matches you could have picked for the start of a show. It was the Intercontinental Championship match, where we had a triple threat of both The Miz, Finn Balor, and Seth freaking Rollins. And to be honest, guys, it was a hard-hitting match. Every single move was absolutely awesome. I am giving The Miz, for me, MVP, because he just, no matter what, he can't do what Seth Rollins and Finn Balor can do in the ring. He just isn't able to do that. But being able to take those type of moves and still look as strong, I think that is absolutely fantastic. Finn Balor goes for an absolutely killer match, and I was so excited to see either him or Seth Rollins or The Miz win last night. Because to be honest, it was that one match where I was like, I do not care who wins, because I'd be happy with whoever wins. And for me, Seth Rollins becoming the new Intercontinental Champion, another Grand Slam champion as well, just makes sense. He was the last member of the Shield not to be a Grand Slam champion. Now he's a Grand Slam champion like Ambrose and Roman. I'm just excited to see how this evolves. Seth Rollins could be a great Intercontinental champion. There's always a lot of rumours that The Miz is going to be away for a while because of the birth of his daughter, and I think we could see a good feud between Finn Balor and Seth Rollins for the title if they're given that opportunity to continue this storyline. The next match I'm looking at was a bit of a shock when it was announced it was the next matchup. It was the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was Charlotte versus Asuka. Now for me, I thought this would be much later on the card, and it's a bit of a disappointment. It was probably not the best place to put this match. It definitely deserved to be much later on, where it could be highlighted as one of the big matches. And to be honest, the match itself was really good. The women literally stole the show last night on their performances. I enjoyed every single second of that match, and there was no point. There was so many points where you're like, oh, Charlotte could win. Well, no. Asuka's going to win. No. Charlotte's going to win. And it was so back and forth, and you were entertained, and you're like, well, is the streak going to end? Is Charlotte going to, is she going to lose time? What's going to happen? It was always these big questions. Charlotte just hitting Asuka with spears, big boots, the figure 4, the figure 8, Asuka counting it with the Asuka lock, doing the hip thrust, everything you could think of. Asuka tried to break the Queen, but unfortunately, the unthinkable could happen. The streak got broken. Yes, it was an amazing match, and it makes the most sense that Charlotte is the one to break the streak. She's the most dominant woman on, I think, in all women's wrestling in the world right now, and it just makes sense. She's the one to defeat Asuka. After the match, Asuka says Charlotte was ready for Asuka. They hug, and there's a big celebrations. The only downfall for the whole match, the only thing which took away from the match, was that they focused on John Cena after the match, when the referee ran up to him and said, "He's here." John Cena just jumps, runs up past Asuka, past Charlotte, and goes to the backstage. And like, it took away the, oh my god, we've just seen the streak end, to seeing John Cena running into the back because the Undertaker could be there. The next match we're looking at is a match probably very affected by the match which came before it, the Asuka versus Charlotte match, which was such a great match and literally, for me, one of the matches of the night. We had the United States Championship match, Fatal 4-Way, where we had Jinder Mahal, Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, and Rusev all fighting it out for the title. And don't get me wrong, the match itself was fine. It wasn't anything special. A Fatal 4-Way match like this is very, very difficult to pull off as being a great match. And I think they put on a good match itself, but it was nothing too special for us fans. I just think the booking decisions on the match was the downfall. There were high spots throughout. You had RKOs coming out of God knows how many situations. Rusev looked absolutely awesome throughout the match, and so did Bobby Roode. The only weak point in throughout the whole match was the man who actually won the match, Jinder Mahal. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm not a fan of Jinder Mahal. Well, I'm not a fan of Jinder Mahal, full stop. But I just think it was a poor decision. You could have had a really great atmosphere built up by giving it to Rusev. The crowd was so behind Rusev, it was unbloody believable. The man literally had everyone chanting Rusev Day, Rusev Day, and then what do? You give it to Jinder Mahal. Now, hopefully this is a turning point so we can have Rusev turn babyface and take Jinder's title off him in a few months' time. But it's just an absolute shame when you think about it this way. As a fan, we've already gone through the Jinder Mahal experience as a title holder, and it wasn't anything to write home about. Yes, his skills have improved a hell of a lot since his time as WWE Champion, but he's still not in that league of holding a title, in my opinion. Guys like Rusev, Randy Orton and Bobby Roode, who are all legitimate champions in their own right, should be the guys holding that title. And Rusev, being the biggest draw in SmackDown right now, should be holding a US title. The guy legitimately shouts to be a main eventer, and yet WWE just constantly job him out to guys like Jinder Mahal. It just makes no sense in my opinion, and it's a shame and a crime to us wrestling fans that we had to see Jinder hold another title and have a WrestleMania moment as it is. Next up, I'm going to talk about the match which was probably more advertised than any other match throughout WrestleMania. It was the mixed match against Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle taking on Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And to be honest, I was absolutely nervous about this match. I did not think it would work. I thought this is not going to be anything. It's just going to be a very poor gimmick match. And I was mistaken. And I'm happy to say I was wrong. Ronda Rousey definitely shows that she is very green, but she does show she has the ability to learn very quickly. She has improved a hell of a lot in my opinion, and I am eating my words from what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. I was not happy about how much, spotlight she got, but in the end of the day, she did put on a hell of a match, and there was a lot of fun bits throughout it. Before the match even started, I said to my friend, I've got a feeling she's going to come in dressed up as Piper, and what does she do? She dresses up as Piper. I was like, well, in my predictions video, I predicted she'll probably make Triple H submit. She nearly made the King of Kings submit in a match at WrestleMania. That's how close. I mean, I was saying these as jokes, but my God, when I was seeing them, I was like, this is goddamn awesome. I'm enjoying every second of it. And that's what you should do with these type of matches. You shouldn't take it serious. You should just enjoy it. And that's what they did. There was no point in that whole match where I thought this is going to be taken too serious. Kurt Angle and Triple H was awesome. I did tweet saying, well, back in 2000 when you thought Triple H taking Kurt Angle was going to be an awesome match. Now, back in 2018, it was a good match. I'm not complaining too much. You can tell there was a lot of mistakes during the match. There was a lot of botches going through. But that doesn't matter. The fun and the bits and bats which were absolutely entertaining did what they needed to do. And it just made the crowd happy. Ronda nearly breaking Stephanie's arm to win the match. No complaints. And her and Kurt Angle getting the win. It was just common sense really. But it was awesome to see. And let's be honest, it was cool to see Kurt Angle back in a WrestleMania match, even though we would all prefer him to have a singles match, but you can tell he's probably not going to have that ever again. The next matchup was the SmackDown Tag Team title match with the Bludgeon Brothers taking on the Usos taking on the New Day. And I'm not going to lie, I absolutely loved the New Day entrance where you had midgets dressed up as pancakes, throwing pancakes to the crowd. That was absolutely awesome. The match itself was cool as well. It was good to see finally the Usos actually taking part in a match at WrestleMania, not being thrown into the Andre the Giant match, which was awesome. And yes, the match was nothing to write home about. It was very, 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 very short match in my opinion for what it needed to be. There was no real time to build up any momentum. You never really got to see the New Day and the Usos really push themselves and do some really great high-flying moves, which you know they can do with both Kofi and the Usos just being able to do that. Big E was pretty much taken out quite early. Xavier Woods was taken out as well. But you know, you're building up a team like the Bludgeon Brothers, you want them to feel like a threat, and they felt like a threat throughout the whole match. And then winning the titles makes it feel like, wow, who could beat the Bludgeon Brothers to take the SmackDown titles off them? Because legitimately, I can't think of a team on the current roster who could beat them right now. But it'll be interesting to see how the Usos and New Day react to this big defeat. I want to see if the Usos are going to challenge soon, or could we be seeing a change coming? Who knows? But the match itself was, again, nothing too special to write home about and very quick, but you got the idea. The Bludgeon Brothers are the biggest threat on the SmackDown tag team division right now. As you guys might have remembered, I did say John Cena did run off after the SmackDown women's title match. That's correct. He ran back into the ring much later on, and he was ready for his match against the dead man himself. And the lights go out, the crowd's excited, and it's Elias. And Elias plays a concert, and the fans are going, "Oh my God, yeah, Elias!" And to be honest, I like Elias's taking the mick out of the fans. It was a great way to mock the fans as well, with everyone else like, John Cena goes back to his seat. Elias is taking the mick still out of John and the crowd. So John Cena decides to do what every rational person would do. He takes out Elias in 30 seconds, destroying a young talent, you know. Again, that's pretty much not what you want to see. And then next thing we know, the lights go off again. The Undertaker's coat is in the center of the ring. And then the dead man is back, and we see John Cena taking on the dead man, and it wasn't even a match, it was a squash match. Undertaker destroys John in like 5 minutes, and that was it. That was the match John Cena was building up. It was a match all the fans were really excited about, and I went, I've just watched 5 minutes of my life where I've seen an old man, a 53-year-old man, beat up John Cena. And the hype is for what again? Because it wasn't even a match. It wasn't competitive. It just was, yeah, we're just going to drop John Cena out now. Why? What was the point of the whole build-up of that? What was the point? It made no sense in my eyes. And I know a lot of fans were really happy about the Undertaker return, but for me, it was a waste of a return for the Undertaker. He's like, we had a goodbye for him last year. Yes, we weren't happy it was Roman Reigns who made him retire, but my God, that was pathetic return. And I'm gonna say, I don't care if you're a big Undertaker fan, even the massive Undertaker fan who was sat next to me even said, well, that was a bit pointless. It was good to see John Cena get beaten up, but it was still pointless. So yeah, that was a pointless point. For 3 weeks now, of John Cena trying to call out The Undertaker. Just freaking stupid. Next match we're going to talk about is a match I never thought I would be talking about. It was Daniel Bryan's return match, and it was a tag team match with him partnering up with Shane O'Mac to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win, they get their jobs back at SmackDown Live. And to be honest, it was a good way to start the match. You had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn attack Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan from behind, and they pretty much focused all their original starting attacks on Daniel Bryan, pretty much eliminating him from the match from at the start. This meant that Shane O'Mac forced the referee to start the show as him taking on both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn by himself, pretty much, you know, at a disadvantage kind of match. And Shane did really well. Yes, Kevin and Sami cheated and did everything, but they didn't make Shane look too strong, and that's what needed to be done. Shane was able to hold them back for so long before Kevin and Sami really started using the numbers game to really destroy him. Daniel managed to get back into the match to stop Kevin Owens from getting a pinfall victory, and that's when the match really truly started. You had Daniel Bryan legitimately feel like it was going back several years because he destroyed Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and it felt absolutely awesome. You can tell where the booking was going. They didn't want to risk Daniel Bryan. It's only recently he's been medically cleared to go back in the ring, and they thought, you know, give him half a match. And it made sense. You saw coast to coast by Shane, so you saw the signature moves that you wanted to see from both guys, and Daniel Bryan using the yes kicks and the yes lock to get the victory, making Sami Zayn tap out. Sami and Kevin can no longer come back to SmackDown Live, which is great. That ends that storyline, and it's a great way, and it's a great fanfare story of Daniel Bryan returning to in-ring action with a victory. I think it's Shane's first victory in years in WrestleMania as well, so that's great. So I was just happy. It was a feel-good type of match, and it needed to be done. This takes us to the last 4 matches of the night, and that was the Raw Women's Championship match, in which Alexa Bliss taking on Nia Jax. And to be honest with you guys, yeah, it did better than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting anything special, but it was a really better match than I was expecting. Again, we've just seen Asuka versus Charlotte, which for me should have been in this position in the card. It should have been at this stage, and Nia and Alexa Bliss should have been where Charlotte and Asuka's match was. To be honest, it was another feel-good moment type of match. You saw Nia Jax being absolutely, you know, for weeks now, being bullied by the person she was, who everyone thought was her best friend, Alexa Bliss. And Nia goes out there with a purpose. She goes out and destroys Mickie James, who was with Alexa Bliss, to make sure Mickie James does not get involved in the match. And then the match itself starts. You had Alexa Bliss doing everything she possibly could to take out Nia Jax, including scraping the eyes, trying to make sure she's blinded, tried everything. She did Twisted Bliss from the top of the ring, outside the ring. It was absolutely freaking awesome. But obviously, you're not going to be able to stop someone like Nia Jax. I think right now she's probably the right person to hold the title. I want to see what's going to happen next. Could we see Asuka taking on Nia Jax? Who knows? I can't wait to see. Nia winning the title was such an awesome spectacle for the story itself. And seeing the emotion she gave after she lifted the title, I thought that was really awesome. I legitimately thought, wow, those tears are legit. She's not acting there. She's legitimately super happy that she's just won the title. I can't blame her. She did a really good job last night for what it was. Like I said, it was nothing to write home about type of match. But again, it was a match where you're like, it's a feel-good moment, and it tells girls you don't have to worry about what people think about how you look. As long as you're happy with yourself, you're a champion, and Nia Jax is a champion now. Takes us to our next match, which should have been the main event of WrestleMania. And if you don't believe me, ask everyone on Twitter at WrestleMania itself, because this match did what it needed to do. It was, let's be honest, the hype for AJ Styles versus Nakamura was high. We all were like, this is going to be the match of the night. This is going to be something special. And did it live up to the hype? Bits of it, yes. It was a lot better than what I was expecting. But again, it just felt like there was a little bit more they could have done if they were given a little bit more time. For me, AJ Styles and Nakamura are the two best wrestlers on SmackDown Live, and they just proved what they can do on the grandest stage. Yes. Did they deserve more time? Hell yes. Did they deserve to be the main event? Oh god, yes. Nakamura and AJ literally used everything in their arsenal to get the win. Both men just didn't leave any moves out. AJ's calf crushers were just legitimately looked destructive. Nakamura's kick to the back of AJ's head looked like it legitimately nearly killed AJ. The phenomenal elbow twice on Nakamura. Nakamura again, just the gut wrenching knee to the face style was brilliant. I mean, to finish it off, the winning move to get it over, the Styles Clash, and AJ getting the win, can still being WWE champion, just makes sense in my opinion. It does. I did predict it would be Nakamura. I wanted it to be Nakamura, but when AJ wins, you can't be too disappointed either. I really did want both men to win. It was just a hard choice, and I chose Nakamura, but I'm glad AJ did get the victory. After the match, you had Nakamura lead down, hold the title to AJ. AJ lifted it, and then we had the unexpected Nakamura turning on AJ Styles. Low blow, my face, my friends' faces. We were all there going, I can't believe this is happening. This is awesome. This is what Nakamura needs to do. I think as a character, as a babyface, he's just been very, very restricted on how he can act. Now that he's turned heel, he beat the crap out of AJ Styles, and now I really want to see heel Nakamura versus babyface AJ Styles, because those guys, now that they can literally let Nakamura just off the hook, do it. Let that match be the next big match at Backlash. Let that be the main event. This should have been the main event full stop at WrestleMania, but at Backlash it better be the bloody main event, because I cannot wait to see those two at it again. This takes us to a match where I'm just going to say WTF. What the hell did I just see? What the hell did I just see? We just saw The Bar, probably one of the most over tag teams in wrestling, I think is a good statement to say. Take on Braun Strowman, one of the most over guys in wrestling, and his mystery partner. And we're all like, well, Kane's been in the Andre match, so it can't be him. We saw Elias taking on, John Cena, so it can't be him. So who could it be? Who could it be? Who? So we're all asking the questions. Who could be Braun Strowman's tag team partner? And the question we're all asking, who could it be? Who? And it was no one. It was legitimate. Braun had no tag team partner, and he chose a kid. He chose a 10-year-old kid called Nicholas from the crowd, and which we've just recently found out who's the referee who was in the match, his own kid. Alright, okay. That was interesting. That was very interesting. It was a gimmick kind of match. Braun Strowman pretty much destroyed The Bar. So Braun Strowman's destroyed the whole tag team division in Raw, so that's great. That's going to be a lot of hard work now to rebuild that tag team division. We now have a new champion in Braun Strowman and Nicholas, a 10-year-old. That'll be even more interesting. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because I had to text my friend at about 4 in the morning going, I'm nearly 30 years old, and Nicholas, who's 10, has done more in his life than I have. Yeah, that was depression. That was depression at a massive level. It was awful. It was funny, but it should have been much earlier on in the card. I don't understand why they left it to second to last bloody match to put it as that. Made no sense. But yeah, we've got a new tag team champion, Nicholas and Braun. Wait and see how that goes, guys. And this takes us to our main event of the night, and what I would like to call the car crash of the night. It was Brock Lesnar taking on the big dog himself, Roman Reigns. And if you thought there was going to be a big match feel to it, no, don't expect it. We saw German suplex. We saw Superman punch, we saw spear, and oh my god, Brock Lesnar used a second move. It's called a knee to the face. I know, I was shocked as well, guys. I didn't believe it myself until I saw it. It was shocking. And F5 about 7 times. Spear. Brock busted open Roman's face. That was kind of cool. That was cool. And then Brock Lesnar won the title. Well, retained the title at least. Yeah, that big build up, the big thing. Oh, Roman's fighting for the company. And then you had the fans booing, saying this is boring, which it was. It was very boring. Even I was out of it by that point. I was like, ugh. And you throw Roman Reigns in the main event again. The third one on trot. Well done, guys. Just what we wanted to see. It was a pointless match. I don't understand the booking decision on that one. It just felt, as a fan, we've not had a constant champion since Kevin Owens as Universal Champion. All the faults with Kevin Owens as Universal Champion, with him working with Jericho, a lot of people really didn't like that. It was a hell of a lot better than what we've got with Brock Lesnar for a year. And now it looks like we could have another year of Brock Lesnar turning up into 4 pay-per-views a year, defending his title about 4 times a year. It makes no sense in my opinion, and it's now the question of, well, if Roman Reigns, the guy who Vince McMahon's been building up for a year to be the one to take down Brock Lesnar, can't do it, and a lot of fans are like, is Vince giving up on Roman? What's going on? Who knows? Who's gonna be the guy to knock down Brock Lesnar? Because God, they have to do it soon, because I can't see the fans really enjoying another year of Brock Lesnar's dominance of absolute boring matches. And the only good thing about Brock Lesnar is Paul Heyman. I like Paul Heyman, but there's only so much I can take. And there you go, guys, that was WrestleMania 34. What did I think? I thought it was a good WrestleMania. I thought the last hour was stupid as hell on booking decisions, but for me, it was a good pay-per-view. It wasn't gonna be NFC TakeOver. That was just a better show. It stole the weekend already, but for what it needed to be, it did a great job. But this is one thing I am going to do, though. I am going to say how I would have booked the show. So for me, first things first, I would change the cards straight away. Intercontinental Championship, have that as the first match. Keep that as still as first match. I think that was a great start to the show. Next match I would have had was the Raw Women's match. I would have put that instead of the SmackDown Women's match. The US title, perfect, keep that there. It needed to be in that position. But the booking I would have changed to Rusev. Get the fans happy, make it Rusev Mania, which they needed to do. They needed that. I don't understand why they needed to give a Jinder Mahal, who was not really had any momentum for a long time. Give him the US title when you got, again, Rusev, who has tons of momentum. It just makes no sense. Mixed tag team champion match with Ronda, Kurt and Triple H and Stephanie. Perfect, keep that where it needs to be. Then I would have the Raw tag team match with Braun Strowman. I would move up the SmackDown tag team match. Again, you don't need that kind of gimmicky. If you have two gimmicky kind of things happen after each other, the fans will laugh at it. And I think with Ronda Rousey's match, it was such a good match. Having the Raw tag team match afterwards would have actually made the crowd even more happy because of what happened. Then have the Undertaker John Cena match. Again, I think that's perfect spot for it. Then I would have the SmackDown tag team title match. Then I would have the SmackDown women's match. And then I would have the tag team match with Daniel Bryan and Shane O'Mac. Then the Universal one. Then the WWE title match. That's just, I know you're having two big title matches after each other, but let's be honest, you got the fans booing saying this is boring for the Universal one. Have them go do that, and then have them enjoy the absolute brilliance of AJ Styles versus Nakamura, because that is a true main event, and it should have been the main event. But there you go, guys, that's how I would have booked it. I want to hear how you guys would have changed the card up yourselves. What did you think of WrestleMania? Do you think it was a good show? Did you think it was a bad show? What would you have changed? Put it in the comments below. If you want to follow me on the old Twitter, I'm at Boise88. You can follow the channel itself at Smack Talk YouTube. It's you and Tube. And I'll see you guys on the next Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.